Trustees regular meeting to order for June 12th, 2023. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mr. Lohman?
Here.
Mr. Hyam?
Here.
Mr. Heiss?
Here.
Approval of the minutes for the regular meeting held May 8th, 2023. I need a motion.
Move we accept the minutes as printed.
I second it.
Roll call.
Lohman?
Yes.
Hyam?
Yes.
Heiss?
Yes.
Approval to pay the bills has been presented over the past month.
Mr. Lohman, I'm going to pass down this final. Since there was no adjustments noted, there's a signature line for each of you on there.
Okay. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Lohman?
Yes.
Hyam?
Yes.
Heiss?
Yes.
Correspondence. I've got a few. I'll try to make it brief. The Fernald Preserve has weekly programs going on through the summer. You can visit their website for more information. Like every week they have something. Hamilton County has grants for, this is the fourth round for small businesses that suffered from COVID. If they have less than 50 employees and they lost money due to COVID during 2020 and 2021, they have until June 20th at 4 p.m. to apply. You can get up to $10,000. There's Ohio Township Association virtual training, June and July. And there was a Board of Health meeting today at 4 p.m. And then we got a thing in the mail. I guess I'll give it to Brian, just about from Hamilton County Board of Elections using our facility in August. I guess we have to return a form to them. That's
Have
all
you considered whether that's a good idea?
What?
Well, given the fact that routinely on election day, people are parked in the grass, the traffic coming in and out of our narrow little driveway, and you've got, other locations close by, a brand new school, brand new parking lot. We don't have the parking spaces. They've got two different precincts that meet here. I mean,
That's a little short notice now,
Yeah.
but we probably ought to
Something we could
ask them in the
discuss.
future to.
I mean, I've brought it up before.
I'm sure
It's
this will be
it's kind of
this-
outside my bailiwick, but I mean, being an elected official, I notice it.
That's true.
It's a safety consideration, and it's it's the property you're responsible for where it takes place. That's why I bring it up.
I'm sure this will be a light election in August.
Sure.
So that's all I got. Dennis?
Yeah, okay. I received an invitation from Hamilton County Soil and Water Conservation District to attend the Williamsburg Wetland Project on May the 25th at the Heathfield Farm in Williamsburg, but I did not attend. I was busy at that time. I got a contact from Bob May. He received a packet from DWA Recreation that contained the engineering drawings and calculations on the shelter that had to be signed and returned. And I looked over the plans and everything looked good, so I gave Bob the approval to sign it and to start the fabrication of the shelter, which would requires a lead time of 18 to 20 weeks. Received notice from Great Parks meeting for West Region Blueway and Trail System on May 18th, 3 to 4:30 p.m. I did not attend that meeting, but I went online and went through the slides, and they're having a meeting this week down at the Methodist Church on 128 from 4 to 6 p.m. I did sign up to go to that. So I'll take and do that.
When is that? Did you say?
It's at the Whitewater Crossing Christian Church.
It's on 128.
Yeah, it's 5571 State Route 128, Cleves, Ohio.
When was that? Was that this Thursday, you said?
Yep, Thursday, June the 15th, 4 to 6 p.m. And then I got a notice of the Hamilton County Township Association member meeting on June the 17th, which is this Saturday from 9 to 11 a.m. And that's at Summit Park Community Room over on Glendale Milford Road in Blue Ash. I will not be able to attend that. If somebody else would be interested, I'll give you the information, but I can't make that. Received notice of a project closeout from Duke Energy on the Willie Road substation. They were doing work over there, and evidently that work has been completed. So I got that notification. And you said the Hamilton County Park.
Get a hold of them about paving the parking lot. I called another guy today.
Al,
Yeah, he's gonna come.
I'll
out
do
and
that
give
under
me
new
a bill.
business. I'm done.
All right, thanks. Chuck?
Yeah, I got a couple of other ones besides you. You said something about Burwell Lucky Golf Outing?
No.
Okay. The annual 22nd annual meeting golf outing, Burwell Lucky Co-op, August 11th. They having lunch, golf, and steaks. They've been going this every year except I guess 2020. It invite the townships and stuff, and so and you could, if we're going, you could know about it, August the 2nd. That done. We got the, I guess, email from Bernard Preserve Education Center. They gave us events for June 2023.
I think that's the same thing
Oh,
that
that
Doug referenced,
Okay.
if that's okay.
I missed that. So, and then I have information from Boardwalk Pipelines. They are connected to Texas Gas Line, which is in, over by the city of Harrison. This is information on the safety for a public official. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask Brenda to make a copy. You could give it to all the trustees and the department heads. I don't know how you make a copy of this thing, but
I already have a copy.
you have a copy.
There's a double 20-inch pipeline that goes crisscross through Crosby Township coming up out of the south that was put back in the 60s when I was a kid. And it goes up to Lebanon, and they put a pumping substation to pump gas the other way down to Louisiana. That's where the pipeline comes from. So it goes up over 128. Duke tapped into it about 10 years ago and took another line up Blue Rock Road to help them with their gas distribution. So it's an active pipeline, but there's two of them side by side,
Yeah, and
50 feet apart.
yeah, and then so you already got this information, but the thing is, we get the I guess money from this pipeline from that pumping station.
Yeah, we get property taxes.
Yeah, so before they put that pumping station in, we're gonna get much money, but after they put it in, we could get a lot more money. You remember how much that is per year?
That was before my time.
Okay. But we get it every year, mostly. So they also sent a survey, so I will go ahead and get a survey and turn that in. I guess that's all I have. So
All right, thanks to Chuck. Guest, Sheriff Lieutenant Stuckey.
All right, so for the month of May, we had 120 calls. We had 7 criminal reports. We didn't have any non-criminal reports. We had 4 cases given to our detectives, 2 were closed. Traffic, we had 2 auto crashes and no DUI, OBI crashes, arrest, sorry. And that's all I got for you. Anything, any questions, anything? That's it. Thank you. That's it, thank you.
Thank you. Special guest, State Rep Cindy Abrams.
Hello, and thank you for having me here. Even though all of you know how to get a hold of me, I like to come and give a quick State House update. I will not take much of your time today. We are in the middle of working on our budget. As you know, every odd year we work for like the first 6 months on the 2-year operating budget and the transportation budget. We passed the transportation budget, which included a whole lot of great things, of course, for the state in general, but in this area, we have the Western Hills Viaduct and the Brent Spence Bridge, of course, that affects all of us. So, that being said, the House version of the budget, the Senate has it right now. Do not ask what they're doing with it. They're keeping everything very quiet on the Senate side. So the House version included of tax cuts, of course. We provided $50 million in funding in the form of grants for local governments, townships, to support your facilities, to make improvements here. Will the Senate keep that in? I have no idea, so stay tuned. We're going to find out tomorrow. We flattened and reduced state income tax. We did that, your personal income tax, last General Assembly during the budget, and we continue to make tax cuts this time also. Again, the Senate will find out. We'll find out what they have to say here tomorrow. I serve on the Finance Committee, Commerce and Labor, Homeland Security, and I'm the chair of the Criminal Justice Committee. A couple of bills in my committee that are of interest, I believe, to our law enforcement and our local folks here. House Bill 110 has to do with catalytic converters. I'm sure that there's a lot of, the deputy here is smiling at me. Yes, there are issues with folks sawing off catalytic converters and stealing them. As we know, the victims of that crime, you know, it costs a lot of money to replace that catalytic converter. Some of these folks are obviously criminals selling them for all kinds of reasons. So again, what does House Bill 110 do? It cracks down on when they sell it first to the scrap yards and that. So we have more reportings and tracking and whatnot to the scrap metal dealers. House Bill 56 has to do with hooning. Before you look at me like, what is hooning? I didn't know what it was either until Dayton police came in front of me, and I guess it's a special name now. They shut streets down, and I would call them burnouts or donuts, but I guess they shut down major interstate or intersections across our state, and it's crazy. They just stop traffic, do burnouts, and they hang out of vehicles, and I mean, it's crazy, the videos they showed us in committee. So again, we're also going to ramp up the penalties for fleeing from law enforcement to a felony in the 4th degree. So there's that. And then House Bill 91 prohibits installing tracking devices without your consent. So like think Apple AirTag or something like that. When the bill came before me in committee, I kind of thought this should really already be against the law. Nobody should be able to track another human without their consent. Commerce and Labor is another committee that I serve on. House Bill 86 will affect our small businesses, our small distilleries here in Ohio. It increases the gallons that they're allowed to produce. So right now it's 100,000 gallons per year, and now it increases that based on what permit they have. Again, I'm happy to answer questions for you today that you have at the state level, but ultimately I'm here to hear about what is of interest to you. And like I said, all of you know how to get a hold of me, and just wanted to stop in to your meeting. Any questions?
About the only thing I would have, I know one time I submitted a grant to do road resurfacing, and at that time it came through ODOT, and it was only like $4 million for the whole state of Ohio. Naturally, I think all their grant requests came in at about $120 million. So I didn't know if that was something that would be down in your jurisdiction or if that's strictly an ODOT thing. I'm interested in whether the 50 million for improvements in the House bill, and it's in the Senate now, you know, if we can, when you only, you know, when it's only 50 million is quite a bit of money, but 4 million isn't. So, you know, I'd like to be kept in the loop so that, because we have a couple projects here that we are looking at in the future, and it's going to be some serious capital outlay, and so I'd be interested in seeing what comes down the pike.
I think the best way to do that is get your project to me, and then I can plug in with ODOT, and we can kind of figure out, like, you know, they have a 2-year schedule also based on our funding. So that would be the best way to do it. I'll connect you with the director here locally, and then we kind of keep on the radar.
Okay,
At least that's what I've done with other jurisdictions when they have projects.
okay,
So
thanks.
you're welcome.
Anybody else? Thanks, Cindy.
Thank you.
I have a question, finance related, if that's okay. Would your office be able and willing to help us investigate whether there may be significant state funds available for a small township like ours that has one fire department when we're approaching a pretty big need to rebuild a fire department, but obviously at a pretty high cost for a small population like ours?
So the fire station you're talking about, like their firehouse, we, multiple jurisdictions, the city of Cincinnati and Colerain Township tried to put that in the capital budget last year, and state funds do not pay for that. I know there was a bill, and I'll have to look to see where that is, but some of my colleagues were talking about like joint fire districts, and I don't know if that's something that you would want to consider just with this whole general area or not.
Yeah, we have a quasi joint relationship when it comes to our medics, but
Right.
it was more tailored towards fire. That answers the question. I appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, public at large. John? Yeah. Just say who you are and what it's about.
I'm not going to be as polished as she was. Anyway, I worked at Fernald for like 21 years, and when I was there,
You need your name and your address.
my name's I live over by Okeana. But anyway, I worked at Fernald for like 21 years, and twice a year, they would be pretty religious about having blood drives at Fernald, and so I got into that way back when. So since then, I go like once a month to do platelets at Hawksworth. And that's where I found out about this story about this little girl named Bryn Schulte. And I gave the trustees a packet of that. But if you want to know that whole story, you can go to Google hawksworth.com, the Bryn Schulte story, and it'll tell you the whole thing about it. She was born with a deficient X factor to where you need that for blood clotting. So every other day, she's got to have a blood infusion. She's 3 years old, and she's had like 700 already. And her mom's got to do that every day when she does it. So anyway, I stopped at the Fernald site to request if we could do a blood drive over there, and I haven't heard back from them yet. I left the message with Venice Cornerstone if they would put a article out about this, and it's not come to fruition yet. So this is all initial stuff starting out. So I got hold of Steve Miller. He's a fire chief of Ross Township, and he said he would pass. I gave him a packet. He said he would pass that over to the Ross Township trustees and the Morgan Township trustees. So, and then you guys are all this group that's right here. If we could be a part of the Cincinnati area that would get involved in doing a blood drive for this girl. And that's what I'm here for, and that's just something that's major need for this family to have platelets given for her daughter to have, for their daughter to have a blood infusion every other day. So when I talked to Brenda Jackson, she told me to come down here and present it to you guys, so that's what I'm here for. And I know that Brenda Jackson's, I've talked to her in the past about issues with her daughter, so. Anyway, but that's neither here nor there. But anyway, that's what I'm here for. And so Steve Miller said he would get hold of the trustees of Ross and Morgan and pass that information to them. And I'll wait to hear if I hear back from the site that they would do that, and from the Venice Cornerstone, whether they'd put an article in the paper about that. And this girl's been on the news before. I don't know if anybody's seen her on there or not. So that's what I'm here for, and just let you know about that, and you guys would know about it, the trustees for sure. So I'm done. Anybody got any questions?
Just let us know when
Yeah,
everything
Yeah.
I will.
comes
I will.
to a head.
We
So-
can put on our
if-
we can put on our website too, if, if there's a
Okay.
local blood drive or something too.
So if it all comes to fruition, then I'll let you know, and we'll do what we got to do for logistics.
Okay,
Make sure you let Brenda know too. If it's far enough ahead, there's a newsletter that goes out to all the residents. It would be a good way to market something like that.
If you have any questions, I'm going home to eat a cold dinner.
All right. Thanks. Anybody else, public at large? Okay, reports, legal, Alan?
Has anyone heard anything from the Historical Society? Do we know?
Just about a rodent issue.
you know what I'm thinking is that it's just gonna be a non-deal as far as
Okay.
transferring the property.
Okay.
I haven't heard anything. She got a hold of us via email to Brenda about a hole in the sidewall. Then somebody was looking out through the crack at her with two eyes, and
They should keep,
settled her,
they should
but-
keep mouse poison in there anyway.
yeah, well, I got a hold of Harry today, and they went over and fixed the hole, and then they put
They did put bait in there.
bait in there.
Because actually, they were working at the Looker House, the Harrison Society, and Larry Cleaner came in today, and he says there was mice in there and everything, and I says, you got to, buildings like that, you got to keep bait in there all the time,
Yeah.
because they'll just ruin it.
So, and then I had a friend of mine look at the floor joist to see what it would take to fix that if we go that route. But, our arrangement is for us to maintain the outside and the footer, and the floor joists are on the inside. And that would be, in my opinion, that's their ball game. So, but, yeah, that, nobody's ever come back, so I don't know what to do.
Okay. Yeah, just to remind everybody, that was the question, or the thought was that perhaps if the property were transferred to the Historical Society, it would facilitate grant writing
Correct.
ability and maybe help get more grants from the state for the historical building. But it doesn't sound like at this point the Historical Society wants to take ownership.
Doesn't sound like it.
Okay. That's all I have.
Yeah, when it comes to writing the grant, I looked into it. They wanted the grant writer to have ownership of the building. And the township wasn't willing to do that because they wanted it to fix up to their specifications. So we were trying to get the ball in their court so they could do whatever they wanted to do with it. And so that's just the background on it. Okay.
All right, thanks, Alan. Anybody else for Alan? Maintenance, Harry?
Just a couple things. We got the building all done, but just a couple more cracks. We ran out of caulking. Got it all sealed and everything and that finally. And I've had a couple phone calls on Water Street, down there where the old bridge used to be.
Yeah.
They got trucks sitting there with flat tires loaded out in the street. So I got pictures I'll show you after the meeting. I mean, they're just loaded with garbage sitting there with
Would that be
flat
a
top.
zoning issue?
That'd be a nuisance. Rick would handle that.
All the
Nuisance.
Board of Health.
Yeah, they've got refrigerators, they got everything sitting out there.
Yeah, well, talk to Rick on that.
Yeah, I
would
was
be my
going to.
opinion.
It's because they take odd jobs clearing places out and then just take it to their property and just let it sit there.
Yeah,
I used to live 2 doors down.
so I'll talk to Rick, see what he says, and,
He would have the jurisdiction on that.
well, I was talking to you, Dave, about the other side of the street. He blocked all the laid rock and everything down where the drain water goes into the river, blocked that up, and it's flooding the other yard, so I went over and talked to him, he said he'd take care of it. I went over, he's got more rock spread out now in it.
You know, you might want to take and get a hold of Hamilton County Soil and Water,
Yeah,
and because they would have the legal way of, because that's natural drainage and you can't block up natural
Yeah.
drainage. And take and get a hold of them, and if you can't, I'll get a hold of them, but,
yeah, I got his card on my desk, I got it out.
okay.
Yeah,
But I would get, because they would come out and handle that, pretty sure.
that's all.
Do we want to introduce Mike Marsh?
He missed it.
That is good.
Mike
I can do,
Marsh.
I can do it if you want.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'll go, for the record, I'll go through the whole spiel. So Harry's retiring, so we're hired a new maintenance man. We put a job up where we advertise for the job through the website and newspaper and on our signs, and we got 7 applicants, 5 of whom we interviewed. The 2 other ones didn't want to, which we interviewed over 2 evenings, and then by a 2 to 3 vote, or 2 out of 3 vote, we agreed to hire Mike Marsh. I can't say that fast 3 times. Beginning July 1st. So,
Welcome to the board.
so I guess that's all we have for maintenance then, or do you want to say anything else?
No, I can't think of anything else, as far as maintenance. I'll just handle it on old business and new business.
Okay. So fire, Chief Davis.
May run totals, we had 47 EMS details, 29 fire details, for a total of 76 in May. We had numerous items sell on the Hamilton County auction website. We received a check for the items sold. I've attached the list of items that have sold through the website to the report. The check is for $494.04. I'll turn that into Matt after the meeting. The only item left still on the website is the 87 fire engine. As of last night, it had, I believe, 8 days left on the website. So I guess my question is, sometime in the near future, could we get a dumpster, a small dumpster down there to get rid of stuff that didn't sell, that belongs to us?
Put it in that person on Water Street, just put it in their yard.
Right?
I would get a hold of Harry, and, cause Harry has the connection on dumpsters. And, I'd take Harry down there, and so you got an idea how much, cause dumpsters come in various sizes, so that you don't pay for more than what you really need.
Okay.
And then we have a work weekend or a work day, however you want to arrange it. I mean, I don't know if Harry's crew goes down there and cleans it out, or if the firefighters go down there and clean it out, or how do you want to handle that?
We should probably do it, and we know what's ours and what's not.
Okay. So we'll leave it up to the firefighters then to clean out the stuff. If you want me to be down there, just so that you got one trustee down there or somebody down there while you're taking that stuff out, I don't have a problem with it as long as I don't have a conflict.
Okay. I'll get with Harry and we'll see what size we need.
Yeah, and then as far as the fire engine goes, if we get no takers on it, and I'm gonna run this past you, Alan. Since we're going to be getting out of the firehouse down there and there's gonna probably be some issues, can we use that fire engine if nobody gave us a bid as leverage to entice the people that have the lease with to smooth over some of the issues they might have?
You mean turn over the fire truck?
Yeah.
An in-kind,
An in-kind
Payment.
transaction.
Street for scrap.
Doesn't sound like it. How much is it worth?
Nothing right now. Nobody put a bid on it.
it's up for public auction right now.
Yeah,
It's on public auction.
yeah.
It's up on the county's
No
public
takers.
auction. He's saying if
You
it,
know what, I'd have to look at the statute again.
he's,
As far as giving stuff away, that the townships, for whatever reason, you gotta follow the statute.
Well, we need,
Or scrap
You
it.
wanna, you wanna use it to trade, kind of barter. like
Yep.
Matt said.
yep,
Let me take a look.
yeah. Because it might help us get out of the firehouse without some undue hardships.
One more thing for tonight. Engine 28 is in need of a new fuel injector. Right now, the engine is operating only 5 cylinders instead of all 6. On the last page of your report is the price for the parts and labor. Just under $1,900. I'm asking for approval for that tonight. We'll have the parts ordered. Once they're received, we'll schedule a date for that service. Service should take a day, hopefully.
What
Maybe a
vehicle
day
is
and a
that?
half. The fire engine, engine 28,
So it's your main fire engine?
yeah.
Well, you gotta have it running on all 8.
Yeah, we'll have a spare in place while it's down for that day, or day and a half.
Yeah. I'll move that we go ahead and spend no more than $1,900 on repairing the fuel injector for the E28 pumper.
I second it.
Roll call.
Loman,
Yes.
Hyam,
Yes.
Heis.
Yes.
Thank you, that's all I have.
The only thing I have is every time we turn around, we're buying more stuff for the new engine. How much more extra stuff? I know it's just like anything else. If I order a tractor, you gotta add stuff on it that you want. How much? Because we approved, a base price for the engine, and now
Correct.
we're always approving stuff.
We approved 66,000 for equipment, but everything is coming from different vendors. So that's why it seems like there's so much
That's why
coming
it
in.
seems like it's piecemeal.
Yeah, vendors for the hose, vendors for hand tools, some tools over at, some of the hand tools from Home Depot, some from other fire companies.
Okay.
So that's why we're staying within that 66,000, but we're making sure that there's no way to get all those tools from one vendor. So that's why it's coming in slowly and surely.
Okay, I
and
just,
seeing
I just looking at the checks when I'm signing them, and
Sure.
there's always something there for the fire engine.
Double and triple, making sure it's under
We
that.
paid for the engine already, right?
Correct.
When we ordered it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was part of that 66,000 was part of it. So we're staying within that.
66,000 was part of the appropriations for it.
Yes,
It wasn't part, yeah.
correct.
Separate from the cost of the
Separate from the
engine.
cost. Yep.
Anything else for Chief Davis?
Mr. Loman, if I could, I would go up there, but since I've got a microphone here, I'll just stay here. On behalf of my family, I'd like to publicly commend the fire department for very effective, swift action they took on a pretty significant fire. I don't know, when was that, Chief? A week or two ago.
Yeah, week and a half ago.
There was essentially a garden shed on Hacienda that that caught fire right around twilight time, and was so significant that well, our guys got there first, and they were hooked up to the hydrant and addressing the fire. But it was a significant enough fire that there was 2 fire engines, 2 different fire companies from Coleraine, Ross Township, Green Township, Whitewater Township, all filling up Hacienda and Tully Lane. I mean, every bordering township was there. It was pretty scary. My kids saw it coming up, and the reason why I am thankful for their actions is because of the fact that my property, which has a wooded area, the fire was literally right on my property line. And as dry as it has been for the last month, I thought for sure this was going to turn into like a little miniature forest fire. And no brush fire either, because there was a lot of mature trees. They were right there. They were right on top of the thing, but they got there so fast they were able to wet down all of the trees, the area surrounding the shed that was on fire, and were able to contain it just to that and some of the dead grass around there. It was a pretty intense situation. I told the chief before the meeting there was loud pops that sounded identical to gunfire happening from, I don't know, paint cans or tires that were blowing up inside the shed. And I'm just very thankful for how fast they got there, and doing a great job. So keep up the good work. I'm thankful for you.
I'll pass on to the crew. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. It's good to hear good things. So community coordinator, Brenda's not here tonight, so I will read her report. First, I would like to thank Molly Hasenor for coordinating a great group of Harrison High School students who came to the community center for a time of doing service projects for us. They had 2 teachers with them, and they washed our picnic tables for the season, some windows and kitchen cabinets. Great job. Crosby Township had a special election will have a special election Tuesday, August 8th. I checked with the Board of Elections and asked that we would be voting on that day. I understood that there is an election related to the House bill regarding the Ohio Constitution on how an issue is passed by voters. Currently, a House bill is passed by 51%, and the proposed change would make it 60% to 40% majority. We received a lot of calls from confused residents due to Duke Energy letter that was sent to everyone regarding the new Dynegy Energy Services contract with the Energy Alliance. The letter begins with, as you requested, your account will be returned to Duke Energy from Dynegy Energy Services, effective with June 8th, 2023. She asked Kathy Dieters from Energy Alliance to write an explanation, which we now have on our website to provide understanding. Basically, Duke, the way they do it is it has to expire, then Duke takes over, then it goes back to Energy Alliance. So I know everybody, I think, got letters, those same Duke letters, but basically disregard those because we're still in that same Dynegy contract. Okay, she is working with the Crosby Fire Department's EMS instructor, Stephanie Bittner, to look at dates in July when we can run a 2-session community and staff class on the following topics. First session would be on CPR and AED unit operation. Second session on first aid and life-saving steps to take while waiting for Life Squad paramedics to arrive. Also, thank you to all who participated or donated prizes or came and enjoyed Crosby Day at Strickers Grove, May 21st. Everyone had a great time, and we were especially blessed with local businesses and individuals who donated $37.20 worth of free door prizes. The 108th Memorial Day Parade and service was also a very special time in the life of our community. We thank all the veterans and especially those who were able to honor this year. Our Grand Marshal was Warren Strunk, and our guest speaker was Bob Beats. I'm currently working on thinking of new ways to change up the public placement seating of people at the service and working with Bruce Meyer to provide the best sound for all. So that's a work in progress. And the senior club news is going great. I know they have a lot going on. everyone's welcome to come here. There's a lot of information right out here that's always here on trips that are upcoming. And it's, I guess, is that on the website, a lot of their senior information?
I haven't been on the website lately, so I don't know.
So if you're interested, need something to do, come down here. There's a lot going on.
Doug, while we have Representative Abrams here, maybe she can clarify the vote that's going to occur in August.
Yeah, that,
Happy to do that. So August 8th is the date that we are voting. It is a special election. Before anyone says anything, yes, in last year, at the end of our last General Assembly, we did vote August elections to be out. That is your local elections, which normally have horrific turnout. But since this affects every Ohioan, this is considered a special election. So August 8th it is. That being said, the best way for me to describe this simply, because if you watch news reports and whatnot, people are getting it crazy confused. So here's what it's about. It's difficult to amend the U.S. Constitution. Would we all agree on that? It's difficult to do it. Yes. Okay. So the Ohio Constitution should be the same way. At this moment, all it takes is 50% plus one person for anything to pass to amend our Constitution. So I stress that because it's not like a whole different, there's amending the Constitution, then there's changing laws, right? So I'm a lawmaker, you guys vote me in to go up there and vote for you and whatnot, changing a law in the ORC, the Ohio Revised Code. If we do something like knuckleheads and you guys hate it, then you can still take that to referendum, to the ballot with 50% plus one. So referendum is protected. So if we do something stupid that you hate, take it to the ballot, you can change that. But this is amending our Constitution, which quite frankly should be difficult to do. So if you look at our Ohio Constitution, you will be shocked to see that there are parcel numbers for casinos in Ohio. I don't think that should be in the Constitution, that should be in the ORC. So anyway, the vote, yes, is to raise it to 60% to make it harder to amend. Again, when I'm talking to groups, I'm looking at things like $15 minimum wage, legalizing all drugs, getting rid of the qualified immunity for our first responders. By the way, we won't have any first responders if that happens. All of these things have happened in our blue states, and since they know it can't get past the General Assembly in the red states, they try to bring it in that way. That's my easiest explanation. Questions? So I voted yes for it.
Simple and to the point.
That's right. I voted yes for it. Join me on August 8th. Thank you.
All right, fiscal officer, Matt.
We got correspondence from the state regarding our state audit that we were under. I have not reviewed that in detail yet. I will forward that to you after I do. So I don't have a whole lot to say on that yet. There is a correspondence, really it was very shortly after the last meeting that I copied and forwarded to the trustees, and I hope I had the foresight to also copy Alan on it as well. It was from Hamilton County Resource. Yeah, it looks like my note, I put that I sent it to Alan as well. It's a letter right here. It's dated May 4th, but I received it after our last meeting. The letter instructs that the trustees need to make a decision about whether it is on board with their proposed resolution that was attached as well within 90 days of the receipt of the letter. So my idea is that, I forwarded it to you immediately for your review. It does not require action today. If the trustees look at it and they want to adopt the resolution, I would propose that we just simply do it at the next meeting, and then we will forward it. That's just slightly more than 2 months. It's well within 90 days, and we'll forward it to the appropriate people. It's your guys' call. I don't know much about it. A lot of times when stuff is supposed to be, for the trustees, but they want to send it to one place. They send it to the township clerk, which is me. So I get it. I forward it to you. And that's really all I'll say about that. Another thing, I have, everybody has been getting their property tax bills in the last few weeks, and thank you. And the township is no different. Although the township is mostly exempt from typical county property taxes, we do pay, very nominal amounts of property taxes on all kinds of pieces of property, road frontage, et cetera, that the township has. One thing that we have that needs to be addressed, it probably should have already have been addressed, but we did contact the county at the last cycle when these bills went out, is actually the piece of property that we're sitting in right now. Unfortunately, where'd Alan go?
I don't know, he was here, he just disappeared.
Okay, I actually I don't want to go too far before Alan gets back.
Got something else you could?
Because ultimately, I'm going to request the trustees' blessing in asking Alan to engage the county on behalf of the township. So this property tax bill is related to this piece of property that we're on right now. And when I first contacted the county, I guess auditor's office, I don't want to get that confused. Could have been the treasurer's office as well. At the last half, they said, don't pay the tax bill. We need to get the status of this property corrected. What happened was, and the way they explained it was, when we went through the process with the county of getting the maintenance building built, there were, I guess, there was somehow throughout the building process of that building, that piece of property that sits on was consolidated with this piece of property that this sits on. When that happened, for some reason, all of it ended up as a non-township use piece of property, which is a mistake, obviously. And I don't know whose mistake it was. I'm not here to cast blame. I don't know why or how it happened, because I'm not involved with, the process of having the parcels all set up and the building plans and all that. But what it resulted in is right now for basically a whole year's worth, we have a tax bill for over $52,000. Obviously, that's incorrect. But because of the large number that we're talking about, and the more I thought about it, the more I thought it kind of goes beyond what I do and more to what Alan does, is because the reason they gave for the kind of the mix up or the snafu was related to the contracts with, the building of the building and all this kind of stuff. Not the contracts, but like the building of that building and the consolidating of parcels. I think it's more appropriate for Alan to make some calls and address the issue, see what needs to happen, what kind of forms need to be done so that this can get corrected. As long as the townships are okay with that, because he's going to send an hourly bill after he does it. But I think it's worth his time.
Up to it. Yeah, if you can do it.
It will be more than $50,000 worth, will it?
All right. We'll let him handle it.
I guess I'll just put on the record that the trustees met at 6 o'clock in a published public meeting prior to this meeting to adopt a proposed budget for 2024. It's not binding on 2024. But nothing extremely notable to report in that budget compared to previous years. That's all I have.
Anything else for Matt? Zoning rec?
Last month, we had 6 zoning permits issued, 2 for swimming pools, 1 for a fence, 1 for a driveway extension, 1 for a deck, and 1 special zoning certificate for Linwood Enterprises. And included with that packet is an explanation of the finding of fact for that last zoning that was issued for Linwood down on 128. And that's all I have.
Harry had an issue about, if you want to tell him,
Yeah, on Water Street, your favorite place down there by the old bridge.
Mm-hmm.
They got trucks sitting out in the street with flat tires
Okay.
and loaded with junk.
I'll go down.
Okay, it's a mess down there.
I went down there, I spent 2 weeks, and I was told about that before, and then I went by and I didn't see anything at that time.
I got
I'll
pictures.
go down.
Yeah,
I'll go
I'll show
down.
you the pictures. I took some of them.
Oh, okay. I have to have pictures. Anybody else?
No.
All right, thank you.
all right, thanks, Rick.
Thank you.
Old business, I don't have any. Dennis?
Old business, I talked to Todd Cadbury, well, not Todd Cadbury, it's Carter Light is the guy under Todd that handles the paving. And evidently Barrett has got the contract to repave Fort Scott Road. And so they're meeting Thursday to find out the timeline. And I asked Carter if he would send me the timeline and the estimated cost that the 2 roads that we're repaving there is going to be. So I did get a hold with him. And then I sent an email this morning to Steve Whitehouse with Johnson Controls about the invoice that we haven't received yet. Prior to me coming to the meeting, I went up and checked my emails. I had the invoice, so I gave it to the fiscal officer, and they will promptly pay it, and we can get that out of the way. And that's all the old business I have.
Dennis? Or, Chuck, sorry.
I got none.
And Mr. Lohman, you said you have none, correct?
Correct. New business, I have none. Dennis?
New business, I went down and talked to the gentleman at Outsmith Plumbing about new flooring in this facility. And so he had a guy that was going to contact me, which he did right before I came here. And we're meeting tomorrow at 4 o'clock to look over different ways that we can repave this floor. So, so we're going to do that, and then
This floor in here?
yeah. And, well, everything that's coated with this coating. So the hallway and this room, and the kitchen's the same back there. So, and then Brian gave me a person that he had heard of, and so when I get an idea of what I'm looking at on what kind of flooring, I'll bring it back for the July meeting. And so we can start looking at how to replace this floor. I think I got one more, yeah. There was what they called a pre-construction meeting at the ODOT for the installation of new signs on state highways. I listened to the first 20 minutes of it, and I couldn't take any more. So it was basically going over the different companies that were going to do the job, the safety protocols, and it just kept dragging on and on. And the only state route we got is 128, and it's not, if they replace all the signs on 128, it's not going to be much of a big project. So after I took as much as I could, I hung that up. Butler County Soil and Water Conservation District is having a skimmer workshop for maintaining sediment basins, and that is Thursday at their office up at 1802
What's that agency called
Princeton
again?
Road. What?
What's that agency called again? Butler County what?
Hamilton County Soil and Water Conservation District.
Hamilton County?
Butler County.
Oh, Butler.
Sorry.
Butler County.
They work together.
Soil.
Soil and Water Conservation District. But they closed their sign-up period May the 31st, and we don't have that many, other than Fort Scott's got a bunch of containment. We got a little one out here, and so I'm sure everybody else got, but it's already closed to sign up for it. And that's all the new business I have.
Thanks, Dennis. Chuck?
I got none.
And other concerns, I did forget to mention, there'll be a West JAD meeting July 6th in Miamitown. That's a Thursday at 5:30 PM. I should be there.
What day was that?
July 6th, a Thursday. It's in Miamitown, right next to the fire station on 128,
What time?
5:30.
And then I'd like to go into executive meeting to determine the new maintenance supervisor salary after we're finished here.
Is there any other concerns? So then, this will be brief, so, do you want to make a motion?
I move we go into executive session.
I second.
Roll call,
Loman.
yes.
Hyab.
Yes.
Ice.
Motion to go out of executive session.
I
So
make
moved.
that motion.
Second?
And do I need a, I don't,
Loman.
yes.
Hyab.
Yes.
Heis.
Yes.
So for our new maintenance, should I do what we decided?
Huh?
Is this a motion or?
Motion.
Okay, so I make a motion for our new maintenance supervisor, Mike Marsh, to be paid $26,000 a year, and then after his 90-day probation, it would be $28,000 a year. And also, as Dennis would be his contact person if he has any issues or anything with his, or questions with his job. Do I have a second?
Second?
Roll call.
Now, who was the contract person?
Dennis?
Yeah.
I mean, he can talk to any of us, but Dennis would be your main, if you have an issue or need to know anything.
And he starts July the 1st, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So the probation would be ending October 1st.
It would be ending, the probation would be ending at the end of September.
Right, September 30th, but the new salary would
Yeah.
kick in for October.
Yeah. And he's monthly, just like Harry Bryan.
Yes.
Hold on, I got one more note I need to make. You ready for roll call?
Mm-hmm.
Loman.
Yes.
Hyab.
Yes.
Heis.
Yes.
Any other concerns?
Move we adjourn?
Our next business meeting will be July 10th, 2023 at 7 p.m. I have a motion from Dennis to adjourn.
I second it.
Second, Chuck. Roll call.
Loman.
Yes.
Hyab.
Yes.
Heis.
Yes.
8:16.